building tools so good, they practically torque themselves. Hard work and innovation equals problem solved. See our latest designs at cantork.com.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
A pizza from Papa John's is already pretty great, but you know what's even better? 2 pizzas from Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium one-topping pizza for only $6 when you order any large specialty pizza at regular menu price. Whether you're feeding your family, your team, or yourself, get your next meal from your locally owned and operated Papa John's with a $6 one-top medium when you order any large specialty at regular menu price. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
From the locker room to your radio, Sports 1440 is Edmonton's sports leader. Real talk, big personalities, and your texts. It's interactive. It's fun. It's where Edmonton talks sports. Sports 1440.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and even though it's a few months past Thanksgiving, I want to give thanks right now. This is the time of year when so many people go to the new RV show and buy their new RVs.
All the new RV stores are bragging about the latest makes and models.
That's right, Bob. Those beautiful state-of-the-art RVs are brand new right up until the time they leave the showroom. Then they're used. Just like every quality used RV on our lot, somebody pays full price at the RV show or at the new RV store, and in a matter of seconds, it's worth tens of thousands of dollars less just because they picked it up.
Where does all that money go, Rick?
It stays in our customers' pockets, Bob, because we sell those same RVs just a few years later. If it wasn't for new RV buyers, we'd be out of business. That's why we give thanks every year. You make it all possible.
And that's No Bull.
No Bull RV.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Welcome to the Lowdown. Today's show, Oilers in Chicago to play the Blackhawks. NFL playoffs are a banger, and the Oilers have a new impact goalie in Bakersfield. Will anybody notice? The Lowdown is brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Family-owned and community-driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. Okay, lots going on today. We're going to get right to it. As you know, we're live on YouTube and Sports 1440 AM radio. We're online everywhere. iHeartRadio, sports1440.ca, Radio Player Canada. After the show, they turn them into podcasts on Spotify and Apple, and we tweet them out on X as well. At Twitter, Lowetide, Declan Krueger, J Fenwick 04. And our guest today, Rachel Krychak at 1240. We're going to talk to Rachel about the Edmonton Oilers goaltending situation and whether or not they're rugged enough to play like in a final against, say the Florida Panthers, who apparently don't need to follow the NHL rule book based on what we saw on the weekend. That and more, and of course, NFL straight ahead. And Jason Gregor will join us at 1:20 as well. We'll talk a little Oilers, little NFL, and we'll preview what's coming up on the Jason Gregor Show. Now, ordinarily at this time, I do some fancy pants intro of the next two gentlemen, but I'm going to take leave of that today because it's time to give flowers to both of them, both Declan Krueger and Josh Fenwick. On Friday, and previous to Friday as well, they gave me the feeling that this NFL playoff weekend was going to be wild and close, and who knew who was going to win. So on Friday, I asked them to make their picks, and I think they got one wrong, maybe two, but in a weekend where a lot of the games were very close, thanks, Chargers, I thought they did an exceptional job. So, ladies and gentlemen, and take a bow, please. It's Declan Krueger and Josh Fenwick. Declan Krueger, Josh Fenwick. Fantastic job, boys. Well done.
We did well. We're just working straight off from our brains out at the bar of trying to remember what we did, and then we were trying to figure out what we were against the spread. So we determined that I was 4-1 this weekend because I had the Niners over your Eagles.
Right.
And Declan's a kiss ass, so he took the Eagles. And obviously they did not win in
Now,
embarrassing fashion.
Do you differ tonight?
Pardon me?
Did you take a team he did not take in the game
No, I think
tonight?
we're both taking the Texans.
Okay, all right.
It's the easiest, like, it's the one I have the least resolve about.
Right. And the Eagles game was interesting because it was close. The Eagles can't get all of their best players on the field because, and I also thought that throw on 4th and 11 was like it had no chance. It could be completed, but not to the right jersey. And that's disappointing. But full credit to you and to the 49ers. I thought it was a great weekend of football. And good for the Buffalo Bills. Was it a little closer, Declan, than you thought it could or should or needed to be?
No, I mean, needed. Yeah. Like you want to win every game 45-0. But I knew how good Jacksonville was. I knew the hot streak they came in on. I knew how well the defense was playing, what they were able to do stopping the run. And they did. They stopped the run. Like James Cook, as a team, they had 43 yards rushing at half. So I knew Jacksonville was going to be a really, really tough out. And I was nervous about it. And Josh Allen had never won a playoff game on the road in his career. He was 0-4. And this was a team that was playing incredible football, that was really hot, and won a division with the equally hot Houston Texans. So I knew how well they were playing. I was nervous. We got the job done. And you know what? I think you're giving me too much credit. I think at best I went 3-2. There's a chance.
I don't think so.
No, because I picked the Eagles and I picked the Chargers. So that's 2 right there. And I can't even cap. I might have actually even picked the Packers. So I might have gone 2-3. Now against the spread, that's a different story. I might have gone 2-3.
Well, can we go back and I'll just praise Josh in the intro then.
Yeah, he did 4-1. That's a heck of a weekend outright. The spread, like I said, be a little bit different. I don't know how much. I'm sure you're going to talk about your Eagles a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to rag on them.
No, but
if we're doing it, I'm going to rag on them.
Look, they won the Super Bowl a year ago, but they're not the same team, and they did not play well. And I know that I have a hate on for Sirianni, but I think a lot of play calling was kind of wrong, and I don't like the wide out, being selfish. There's a lot about that Eagles team that you can tear apart today.
I want Josh, go ahead for a second. I want to pull up some numbers here.
Okay.
Quickly.
So fun fact about yesterday's Eagles-Niners games. Jawan Jennings, who threw a touchdown pass, had more completions of 15 plus yards than Jalen Hurts did. Jalen Hurts was 0 for 4. Jawan Jennings was 1 for 1.
But that's the play calling, right?
No, Jalen Hurts cannot.
Jalen Hurts can't throw deep.
It downfield. AJ Brown had a pretty bad drop. Actually, he had a few.
AJ Brown had a lot of bad drops.
But he had one that was really glaring that I can actually look at and say that's a good ball that he dropped. The others, I don't love the placement. But Jalen Hurts tries to get it down the field. He just can't do it. He cannot throw the ball down the field. Go ahead, Joe.
He can't. Like Jalen Hurts, he really can't throw the ball. And it's funny that you were like, oh, the Eagles can't get their best players out on the field. You played against a team that literally could not have their best players out on the field due to injury.
And they lost a big player during the game.
Yeah.
They lost a big,
And on a play that looked so routine, too.
And that's just the way it goes, right? That's how you tear an Achilles, is just the routine stuff more often than not.
So Triple C in Truck says, so drops on their QBs now. That's laughable.
Hey.
AJ Brown had one really bad drop on that. I think he ran like a wheel route. I forget what the route was. We all know the play I'm talking about. It was the one where right after Sirianni comes and yells at him for not getting off the field, he goes back at Sirianni. That one was on AJ. That was a catchable ball. But Jalen was putting the balls just slightly ahead or just slightly behind and really forcing his receivers to make adjustments. And if you want to make the argument the receiver should be able to make the adjustment, sure, these guys are NFL athletes. They're wide receiver 1s, 2s, 3s, whatever it is. Sure. But you cannot deny, I don't know how you can sit here and listen. If you're an Eagles fan, you're in a great spot because you just won a Super Bowl, okay? You're good for the next, with Lowetide, you said 5 years. Maybe some Eagles fans feel like it's 7. Maybe some feel like it's 10. Whatever. You're in a good spot for a while because you have won.
That's what
I don't know how you can. I don't know how you can sit there and watch that game and think Jalen Hurts was a competent quarterback throwing the ball down the field. He averaged 4.5 yards of completion.
For me, the big play was that because Barkley was running and then he faded a little and then he came back and is running again and then he got hurt. And the reason why he was so important was Hurts wasn't on. He wasn't. And that whole offense has been stinkeroo for a long time unless Barkley's running the ball. So I'm not surprised by it. And people can rip on the Eagles all they want. They won the division. They won the Super Bowl a year ago. I never thought they were going to win. Now, I want to get to the Oilers, but I want to ask one more question about this. Of the teams that we saw, the one team that I really wanted to win was Buffalo, because I was tired of this narrative about, Josh Allen can't do this, then he's not anything. Does that end now, or is this like he has to win the Super Bowl, or he's going to be a complete epic fail?
He has to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Like, you winning your first road playoff game is nice, but then the flip is like you were 0-4 coming into this. Yeah, winning a wild card game against the Jags is not going to do a whole lot. Like, that's in the category of, I'm happy we won it, don't get me wrong. That's in the category of, boy, you better win that game, Josh Allen. I know your wife's at the Golden Globes, but boy, you better win that game.
And apparently doing a great job.
Yeah, she's the best. No, the Bills have to get to the Super Bowl.
All right. I'm going to move on to hockey now. The Edmonton Oilers played on Saturday night. I thought the McDavid goal was a goal. They discounted it. It would have obviously won the game. They lost in the shootout. I'm not worried about that. I was impressed by the Los Angeles Kings. I thought that even though Doughty has, in my opinion, lost a step, I thought they played well. They were gritty. They're filthy, actually. And the Oilers could have put that game away, and they did not. I have no quarrel. There was some talk on the morning show when I was on today with Kevin about the goaltending maybe being a little iffy. I understand the long shot from the point needs to be gloved down, but it also landed right at Corey Perry. So I'm going to say that wasn't a great play. Also a little bit of bad luck. I am on board with Connor Ingram. Now, that said, I don't think the Oilers are. It's so easy for them to send him down and keep Pickard, and then you have three goalies because Tristan Jarry gets hurt. He's twice now he's gotten hurt this year. Calvin Pickard is in and out in terms of effectiveness, and Connor Ingram is coming back from a pretty large life moment. So I think I wouldn't do it. I'd keep Ingram, but I think the play here is to send Ingram down. Do you agree or disagree, either of you?
So I agree based on like the schematics of how it works. I would want Ingram as my number 2.
I agree.
Instead of Calvin Pickard.
Yeah, I agree totally with that.
I think he's proven.
He
all the
looks
way through,
more
like,
calm,
so
He's more calm, and like, how many times did we come in here when Stuart Skinner was in between the pipes? It's like, I would say about one time a game, at least one time a game, it was like, man, he had to stop that one. Like there was always one that he had to stop.
Once a game.
I said at least once a game. With Connor Ingram, it's like every couple games, you're like, man, you had to stop that one, Ingram. But the time difference between when it's like he lets in a goal that's like, man, a goalie's supposed to make that stop is different. I think he's earned that right to be the number 2 goalie because
now the problem is
Pickard is on a hot streak right now. And
if you keep him and Wade Pickard and he goes away and then Jarry gets hurt, now you're in a problem. I will say this. There's a goaltender named Connor Unger who was signed a few years ago out of Canadian College, and he is looking like $1 million. First, he did it in like 3 or 4 games for ECHL, different ECHL teams. They loaned him out. And then he came up to the AHL, and in 5 games now, he's like got a .955 save percentage. And last night against Ontario, which is a good team, he got the shutout, 25 stops, some good ones, some tough ones. And there was like 10 guys hurt on the Condors. Like they had a skeleton roster. And they won the game. This is like an emerging story. The problem for Connor Unger is he's about the size of Dustin Wolf. And the Oilers, traditionally, they like more big in net. They always have. And when you get more big, you get reflex issues or getting across the crease like Stuart Skinner. So Unger is very, very bendy. He could have been in the Incredibles, but he's not a big guy. So my question to both of you is, should the Oilers, if he continues to go around .955 in the AHL, should they give a look to Connor Unger?
Man, I like the idea. Boy, I like that idea. I like what he's been playing. You know what's funny? Because Connor Ingram didn't have the best numbers in the A, like at all. Poor numbers, actually. But when he came to the NHL, he kind of said, "Listen, like it's the AHL is different. Like I think he actually said it was tougher to play in the A than it is in the NHL.
Less structure.
Yeah, exactly. And like I don't know how Connor Unger is going to feel about that because he's never seen the NHL ice. He's never had NHL ice time. I'm sure for him that'll be far more of a shock than going from the E to the A. Although I could be wrong. My thing is, I love the idea of it. I probably won't do it because I think the biggest problem in the past couple years, however many it's been, has been consistency at the goaltending position. I feel like to a degree you finally have that now, or at least you feel like you have the recipe of what that consistency is going to be. So I'm not messing with it by giving Unger a shot.
I think that's what the Oilers would do. They've had goalies who have gone wild in the streets in the minors before, and the only one they really loved was Steve Passmore, and they ended up trading him anyway. So it's one of those things. I want to move. There's so much to talk about. Mondays are so wild because there's so much going on. But I'm watching the game on Saturday, and we got a text in here about the Los Angeles Kings. This is Brett. Lowetide, I want to get your opinion on the refs and how there probably should have been about 15 different holding or interference calls on the Kings. I agree, but they're calling it different, and they're doing it in the regular season now. And we're going to talk to Rachel about this and Jason as well. The Florida Panthers now are basically cross-checking guys close to the boards, into the boards, mashing teeth, concussed, doesn't matter, and they might get a 2-minute penalty. So the NHL is either favoring Florida Panthers, which will make them bristle, or they've decided to call, basically beer league rules during the regular season, and that means the playoffs are going to be scandalous in terms of how many injuries and, stretchers we're going to see on the ice. I wonder if this year the NHL tweaks things like baseball. They bring in a new ball, and all of a sudden it's home run derby. I think the NHL is calling the game differently this year. And, Greg has been on this for a while, where there are fewer power plays and that sort of thing. Now, I think you really have to question the NHL discipline department, because the cross-check that I saw on the weekend by Florida that I think got a 2-minute penalty is outrageous. That's at least a 1-game suspension, in my opinion. So I'd love to hear what you think about that, because, my God, if we're doing this in the regular season, people are going to be in the hospital all summer by come the playoffs. Tell me I'm wrong.
I was doing something. I wasn't really listening.
2-hour show.
No, hey, listen, as someone who's been in Josh's shoes many a times, I know he actually is working. Like, that's the thing. You think we say that because we're just playing.
Maybe instead of saying I wasn't listening, you could say, that's right, Al.
Oh, we could actually. That's not a bad idea.
Wow, right again.
What do you think you are, my wife?
I never really bought into the narrative that the game was officiated differently for the Panthers. I think they play a gritty, greasy style of game, and I do think maybe lines get bent a little. But I always kind of thought it was, I don't want to say it was sour grapes, but listen, like the calls even out, generally speaking. Like calls end up going your team's way, calls go the other, like, I don't know. I never really felt that way. But watching that, who actually had the hit?
It was Verhaeghe, right?
Was it Verhaeghe?
I believe it was.
Yeah, I don't even know who had the hit. But watching that one and knowing it was only a 2-minute minor, I was like, okay, man, like that is not a hockey play.
Well, you go back,
that's dangerous. You can break a neck.
Well, but they're injuring players on the way through the regular season this year, and I mean, nobody's stopping them. And look, I was a fan of the Bruins, and they were filthy, and I always respected the Flyers, and they were filthier than the Bruins. Mm-hmm. But we until recently, we've been cleaning up the league. But at this point, I think we're going to see fourth-line enforcers by the playoffs. Yeah. Guys, come out there, chop a guy's leg, break an ankle of your favorite player, and then, he'll get 2 minutes.
Because the other thing is, like, even if it is, like, a bending of the rules as opposed to just, like, so they've gotten, like, that's still going to piss other teams off. You know what I mean?
Sure, but
I don't know if you adhere to my line of thinking with it anyway. And granted, I'm not watching 82 Florida Panthers games a year, but
I'm saying that you're gonna, like, Luke Gazdic.
Yeah.
Looks like he works out. He might be back in the league, baby.
No, like, I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I understand it as well based on what they're doing.
Propane Pimp. In order for someone to believe that Gregory Campbell's teams aren't being favored by league officials, we need to watch a player pile drive a Florida Panther into the boards from behind and get 2 minutes. I agree with you. I don't think it'll happen like that. But the NHL never worries about how things look. They never have. They write the rules, the new rules that replace the old rules on the back of a cigarette package. The NHL is like 32 guys and really about 7 because it's the original 6 and then whoever's running the Flyers. They just make decisions, and they make decisions over a Manhattan in Manhattan, and that's how the league goes. And this is another example of that. It is very hard for the NHL to argue, well, we're being very credible here because of the connections. And I do believe the Department of Player Ops really needs to put out thorough videos on every damn Florida Panther penalty, because it looks really bad for the National Hockey League. And I'm mentioning it, but it's been mentioned by far more important NHL people and observers. This is a story, and the NHL can't get out of its own way. And by the time the playoffs come, I think there's going to be some 6'5" guys who can barely skate on NHL rosters. And quite frankly, the hockey will be poor because of it. Just saying. And no disrespect to any of the enforcers. They did a fine job, and I never saw a skill guy who didn't love having them on. When Jordan Eberle and Taylor Hall were asked about Lou Gazdic being on the roster, they said, we love him because he takes care of business. I understand that completely. The NHL is trying to get away from that, and now it appears to me as though they're coming back. Just my opinion. All right. 12:18.
Bless you.
Ricola. You know, the loogie hawking and the Ricola that we had last week, just can't stand, man. Are you better today?
Yeah, I feel great. Is this mic on?
I'm going to get, remember the Bubble Boy episode with Seinfeld? That's what I want. I want a bubble that I can come into and just broadcast from there.
Keep
Because
wishing.
you two hooligans are just out there spitting and coughing and hacking and God knows what you've done. And
I will have you know I have not been sick in 7 months.
I don't get sick a lot.
Well, you weren't listening earlier, so it looks like you're in trouble too, sir.
I'm just sick in the head. That's all.
Right. Okay, on the way, Rachel coming up at 12:40, Jason Greger at 1:20. We're going to talk NFL football and the Monday night game around 1 o'clock or so. And rumors on the way next. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
I skipped breakfast this morning. Stay out of my way.
Don't threaten me with your bad choices.
No worries. A booster bar from Booster Juice will fix me.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, because they're new. Snack-sized bars packed with seeds, pecans, gluten-free oats, all sorts of good stuff.
That sounds lovely, actually.
2 different flavors to try, too. Coconut pecan booster bars and harvest booster bars. Want to skip breakfast with me?
I take it back. You make good choices.
Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com. Craving a dining experience that rises above the rest? Head to Summit Restaurant, nestled in the heart of the Silent Ice Center, and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Savor Summit's exceptional house-made pizza, delectable entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails, all served in a stylish, modern atmosphere. For a casual meal or a special night on the town, Summit Restaurant offers a straightforward yet refined experience, where every bite and sip reflects our dedication to quality. Elevate your dining experience. Visit Summit Restaurant tonight.
Hot coffee, hotter takes, and the sports stories that matter. Check out Kevin Carriers weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440. Be part of the conversation. 833-401-1440.
Seriously, another door knocker? I really want to go solar, but these high-pressure tactics are exhausting.
And their prices are unbelievable. Before we do anything, let's call Great Canadian Solar.
There's a better way to go solar. Great Canadian Solar provides honest advice and fair pricing to save you from overpaying. They're easy to deal with and will never put pressure on you to buy. As a trusted local business for over 15 years, Great Canadian Solar will support you in your solar journey. Visit greatcanadiansolar.com and call today to get started.
I'm Grant Fedork from Leading Edge Physiotherapy, and people who suffer brain fog might think it's just going to be part of their life. But listen, I've seen a 38-year-old man managing a concussion read her kid a bedtime story without losing the plot, all because of cognitive rehab that rewires the brain like a GPS reboot. Your brain isn't broken, it's buffering. One missed beat in focus, memory, or balance snowballs into frustration, falls, or forgotten keys. Stroke, concussion, long COVID, even aging can all lead to brain fog. Cognitive rehab works. Check us out at leadingedgephysio.com before your next "where'd I put my phone" moment.
He's heading into the driveway. Temperature's dropping fast, folks. He opens the hood and, oh no, the battery's on thin ice.
Yeah, that's a tough break, Tim. I mean, you can't expect to compete and win with weak parts in your game like that.
But wait, he's made a clutch move. He's gone to Napa Auto Parts for the win. They've got batteries, winter-grade oils, antifreeze, and wiper blades built for cold Alberta conditions.
That's a championship play, Tim.
With over 85 Alberta locations, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Nice day today. Very, very warm. Considering the time of year, melting going on. My back deck really needs to be shoveled, so I'm hoping for a few more days of this, and then I can avoid it completely. It's time for Rumors, presented by Great Canadian Solar. Great Canadian Solar has been helping homeowners and businesses harness the power of the sun for 15 years. Invest in solar and yourself. GreatCanadianSolar.com. Okay. Few things to check out. We'll begin with the Oiler lines. Ike Howard is out of the lineup. Mangiapane in the lineup. I don't mind that, but then you should send Howard down if it's going to be over a long period of time. If it's a showcase, beautiful. McDavid with Nuge and Hyman. Draisaitl with Podkolzin and Kapanen. My goodness, Kapanen has looked good lately. Roslovic with Mangiapane and Savoy. I don't dislike that line, and if it's a showcase of Mangiapane, then I like it full stop. Lazar with Janmark and Frederick. The coach is starting to have a little bit more confidence in the fourth line. Oh, sure, they're going to scrap it for parts as soon as they can, but they got like 6 minutes on Saturday, and that is the outer marker for Chris Knobloch for a fourth line. Howard, as I mentioned, looks like a healthy scratch. Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, Emberson. That's the move. I wrote at The Athletic today. The Oilers have a Darnell Nurse problem, and the kicker is the Darnell Nurse problem is Alec Regula. So having Emberson there is the plan, and it's a good one. Stastny, Regula, and then Wallman is there on the LTIR, but it appears as though he's not far away from actually contributing. Ingram will start, Pickard the backup, Jari LTIR. That's interesting, too, because when both come off, they're going to have to make some decisions, including, I think, a guy like Ingram is vulnerable, maybe Pickard, too, but mostly Ingram. And then, obviously, Howard would be a candidate to move away. They're running with 6 healthy defensemen right now, and Wallman with the team. Okay, so the Oilers tonight are in a really good – this month can still be really good, just like December was. They've got a great schedule ahead. I expect them to win 8 and tie 4 and lose 3, getting 20 points in 15 games. Right now, they're at 5 points in 4 games. Not bad. You know, it's not like it's cray bad. But the concern that you always have in this situation is you got to keep it going. You can't have one of those poor road trips. This is 2 games, Blackhawks, Preds. I have them winning one and losing one. I like this Oilers team against the Blackhawks tonight, but the Blackhawks are an improving team. And it's important to point that out. Last, 10 games, they've been looking good. They're getting a little bit healthier, and they're not going to be trying for another high lottery pick. And that's good news for Chicago Blackhawks fans. And they've got, more than one line who can do it. They've got some goaltending that's looking pretty good. Spencer Knight, as a 9-10 save percentage. I think this team might make the playoffs. I'm not saying they will, but I think they might make the playoffs. We got to worry about the Calgary Flames because Josh says we have to, although I do not agree. But
I don't remember saying you have to wait for them this year. I remember saying better watch out in 2029.
No, you said they'd make it this year.
I think we all said they'd make it this year. There's a note that's open on the computer. We can refer to it whenever we want.
Funny you mentioned that, Josh. Let's bring it up because we do have that.
Oh, here, I love this stuff.
Okay, Donovan did not have the Flames as a playoff
but he's
team.
a homer, so it doesn't count.
Well, no,
Josh
but Donovan knows his stuff.
Did have the Flames as the
Oh,
playoff
I'm
team.
very
No
aware.
surprise
But
there.
he's, he knows his stuff too.
Declan had the Flames as a playoff team.
He knows his stuff.
I had them as the last wild card team.
I think I had them as the
I also
last
listen.
wild
I didn't have
card
the I didn't have the Wild in the playoffs, and I had the Jets as the third team in the Central.
Well,
I think you and I were very similar.
Well-
I think I had no Wild, and I had the Mammoth in there as well.
I had Utah as the second last wild card team. Flames
However,
as the last wild card team.
That's why
back
you
to
should never make predictions. They always end up biting you in the ass.
and then back to the argument at hand. Lowetide did not have the Flames in the playoffs.
but
So, but like, listen, 50% not bad. If this was the MLB, we'd be
just
Hall of
because I
Fame.
said they make the playoffs doesn't mean I said they were going to be a threat.
It's okay. Like
But 2029,
when we
everybody would better watch out.
when we
I don't
are
want to lie.
when we read the future, like when we say this is my prediction, everybody on planet Earth knows that we don't know. Otherwise, we just win the lottery on Wednesday.
Listen, I hate to say that I was trying to get cute with it, but I was trying to get cute with it.
Way to walk it back, man.
I mean, I'll stand 10 toes down on the Flames making the playoffs. There's still time. But
So you're
I
saying
think did
there's
we
a
also
chance.
I gotta think I'm trying to think what the worst pick of like each of us
St. Louis
individually
for
was.
Lowetide.
St. Louis for Lowetide's looking pretty bad. Me, the Flames looks pretty bad. Columbus as well. Josh.
It's mid-season, boys.
Yeah, we got time.
Yeah,
I think it's the Flames, right?
Yeah.
Unless we're talking about actually the Atlantic Division's on fire right now.
I'm going to move on with the NHL rumors.
That's fine.
Okay. Philip Broberg, day-to-day with a concussion. That's one of the worries that I think the Oilers had about. I'm not saying that it was the reason that they didn't sign him or that they allowed him to go, but he does have a tendency not to be self-aware when harm is coming his way. It's day-to-day with a concussion. The problem with saying that is a concussion can lead to another concussion. So it's like a check mark against for players. And you got to be really, really careful. And hopefully they will, because he's having a great year. He really is. He's having a fantastic year. Senators have signed James Reimer. Goaltending, man. Like it's every year we go, okay, well, you can send that guy down, and you do, and then you're like, nobody wanted him. But that's not true. And that's the worry about Calvin Pickard, because they signed Reimer after he let in 6 goals for Belleville in a game, and they signed him. He may not be like a solution at all, but they felt a need to sign him because they're so low in terms of, goaltenders who can do that. The game should be called goalie, because if you have goaltending, you don't worry, you don't even think about it. But when you don't have goaltending, it's everything.
But not even, because a team like Winnipeg has goaltending and look at them in the playoffs. Like it really is voodoo.
Rare though, man. Like Connor Hellebuck. Here's the concern I have for Jets fans. They're going to trade his ass, and then he's going to be brilliant for some, like the Islanders, and they'll win the Stanley Cup. And then the GM will have to resign.
I don't think they trade him.
No, I don't think they do either. I don't think he
They
can.
have
He
not
can't trade Hellebuck.
Yeah, like on top, it's really tough to get guys to go to Winnipeg. It's really tough to get guys to stay in Winnipeg. And like talent
Is
wise,
this the North Battleford story again?
No, but I mean, that's hey, embrace debate. Where would you rather live, North Battleford or Winnipeg? That's
North
one for another.
Battleford.
That's one for another day. But my point being is, realistically, like if you're a kid who grows up in wherever, let's say you grow up in Mass, you play hockey at BU, you probably don't want to go to Winnipeg as a free agent. You probably don't want to get drafted by them. But they have a core of guys who are really talented. They got really good players, Morrissey, like Connor, Scheifele, Hellebuck. Like they have a core where the talent level should raise them above where they are, and they have to stick with that. Like they can't be sellers under any circumstances.
Winnipeg is a great city. some of the greatest rock and roll Canada's ever produced. The Royal Winnipeg Ballet. They have a great art scene. When's the last time you saw like a bear walk down Main Street in Boston? There's a lot to recommend Winnipeg.
I saw a Bruin who I'd never heard of put up 4 goals the other night in Boston.
Man,
what was that?
Pasta had
Kadyrov?
6 assists.
Pasta had 6 assists.
They kicked the living daylights out of the Rangers. And I was laughing. I was so happy.
They were down 2-1 after the first.
Yeah. I watched that game with zeal. And at my age, you don't do that very much.
I got a question for you guys.
I got an answer for you, hopefully.
Has Pasta ever been a top 5 player in the league?
No.
Oh,
because he's been close. And
that's
he's been
a
top
hard.
10.
That's a hard.
I don't think
get
you can
into.
really crack it.
He's a winger.
Yeah,
So it's hard for wingers to crack that.
It is. Yeah, there's one really, and it's Cooch.
Well,
So I guess it would be between Cooch and him, I guess. But I think, do you not think Matthews for the last few seasons has been ahead of him?
Oh yeah, like I don't think Pasta's ever been a top 5
because
player. but
Matthews is a center though.
Yeah,
I'm aware.
Okay.
I mean, like,
sorry,
no one here is saying that Pasta is
No,
not
I know,
a top
but in the
5 winger.
context of the conversation, it sounded like you said Matthews was a winger. So I'm
No.
just correcting it.
Yeah. No, not even the context. Top 5 player in the league.
No.
Has he at any point been Pasta?
I don't think so.
I
mean,
don't think so either. But he's
Colorado
close.
got 2. Edmonton's got 1.5. So, okay.
So this is per Optastats. The Bruins are the first team to have 2 players with hat tricks and another with 6 assists in a game since the Edmonton Oilers on December 20th, 1985.
Yeah, man.
I'm going to go pull up the game log from that day.
Man, I don't know.
I'm going to
The
say
22. Sorry, go ahead.
Gretzky, Messier, Coffey, Curry, Anderson, and Charlie Huddy did something good.
What? No, you need 2 players with hat tricks and 1 with 6 assists. You have to pick 3 players from that 85 team.
Okay, I'll pick three goals each and 6 assists.
Yes.
I'll pick Curry and Messier for the goals and Gretzky with the assists.
Okay. Sounds right. Obviously.
The shock would be Gretzky not scoring at least 1 goal.
Pasta had 61 goals and didn't win the Rocket. What a tragedy.
Was that the year Matthews had?
No, it was the year McDavid had 64.
I'm going to run a little story here on Dougie Hamilton while you look for that, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. The New Jersey Devils are doing some silly stuff right now. They're not winning, but then they healthy scratch Dougie Hamilton and Elliot Friedman from Sportsnet. Reporting in the Saturday headlines, the Blue Liner turned down a trade over the summer. Friedman stated that the Sharks attempted to acquire the 32-year-old over the offseason. Hamilton used his trade protection to scuttle that. I would like Dougie Hamilton for the Oilers. I don't think they can afford him, but that's a player I'd like to. They need a right-handed defenseman. I wrote an article about Darnell Nurse today. I would love to see Dougie Hamilton here. There's no way they can afford it. There's none. But that would be a great get for the Edmonton Oilers if it was possible. Do you have that story?
It's just the slowly getting there right now. Okay,
Do you have dial-up over there? Or?
Since December 20th, would anyone like to take a guess at what team they played?
What year was it?
85, December 20th.
Winnipeg Jets. It's got to be the Jets.
You say the Jets. You say the Canadians. It was actually the Los Angeles Kings. Does anyone have a guess as to what the final score to this game was?
8-2.
8-6.
9-4.
Okay.
Oh, they don't even have the box score in here. I can't even get it.
Well, you should have gone to Hockey Reference. They have every
I'm
box score.
on Hockey Reference right now.
Well, click on that thing. Click on the link. There's a link to the thing, the game. Every game is linked.
Oh, here we go. I got there. Okay. Got there. No, you didn't help, diddly.
Totally help.
Okay. God.
This is painful.
Yeah. Whoa. Your phone's on volume. Oh, well, now it's not even the right game. It took me to January 25th.
You know,
what the hell is happening here?
This segment.
This segment has gone.
Part of
it's hell in a head. It's hell in a handbasket.
I want to say 2 things.
We're losing sponsors by the second.
We have to move on because we're going to be talking about
It's right here. I promise. It's right here. If it takes me to January 25th again, I'll lose it.
Do we cut it?
No, because I would be patient with you too. So I can't favor one of you over the other.
Sure you can.
No, it doesn't work like that.
All right. So you said Gretzky with the assists, right?
I did.
Bing pot. Now, who are your 2 players?
Messier and Curry.
You're right on Curry.
Okay.
It was actually Paul Coffey.
Oh, well, there you go. I mean, it was like it was a
embarrassment
smorgasbord of,
of riches,
you know, and that's why when people say McDavid can't win cups like the Oilers
My
did in the
God,
80s,
there were
'cause
so
they
many
had, like,
penalties in this game.
They had 2 lines of brilliance, and they had 2 pairings of brilliance, and they had a Hall of Fame goaltender. Oh, yeah, that's not bad. Okay, Rachel Krychak on the way next. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort.
On 3 for the Oilers. They're 2 for 3 and 5 on 3s this year. Bouchard twists one over to McDavid. It's McDavid. 30 for McDavid. And perhaps just as importantly, the Oilers will remain on the power play with a chance to take the lead. Sky Moore again, little trickery. Who's thrown it before? Going deep to McCaffrey. Touchdown, 49ers.
Down on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Check it out, wolfgmcbuick.com. 1240 as we cruise towards 2 o'clock in the Jason Gregor Show. He'll be live at 1:20 today, and we'll talk NFL Monday Nighter a little after 1 o'clock. We are now joined by our friend Rachel Krychak, friend of the show from Betalytics. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. It's nice weather here, and I'm finding the hockey is quite interesting here, and maybe there too, where you are. So let's start here. I'm watching the Florida Panthers and wondering if a team like the Oilers is constructed to compete physically against them should they meet in the final. The Floriders are stepping over every boundary. Are they stoppable if the league doesn't call penalties on plays that are quite egregious?
I'm glad you added that last qualifier because, quite frankly, the answer is no. It really seems like the Florida Panthers are playing to a different set of rules than every other team in the National Hockey League. And you can qualm, I'm sure you and I both see it. I certainly see it on my timeline. There are Toronto fans that are, I think, rightfully upset with how the Department of Player Safety, which feels like an interesting name given how they handle things, handles suspensions for the Toronto Maple Leafs versus a divisional rival in the Florida Panthers. And I think that there are other teams in the National Hockey League that are right to feel like the Panthers play to a different standard. That we saw the hit Carter Verhaeghe laid on Artem Zub over the weekend, and I genuinely feel like if that were an Edmonton Oiler, a Toronto Maple Leaf, a Vancouver Canuck, a Montreal Canadian, that we're looking at 1 or 2 game suspension. And so I look at this and I go, okay, this is the regular season at the beginning of January when conceivably it's the dog days of the season, and they're hoping maybe people are just kind of gearing up for the Olympics, taking a bit of a hockey break. But I've kind of worked on this theory that the Department of Player Safety response is directly proportional to the amount of public attention that a play gets. For example, Bobby McMahon, who came down pretty forcefully with his stick, he got a 1-game suspension, and that generated a lot of buzz. Whereas I believe it was Jamie Drysdale got absolutely crushed by Ross Johnson. And because it's Philadelphia and Anaheim as opposed to Toronto, it didn't generate as much buzz. And I think the same can be said for the Edmonton Oilers. If somebody laid that hit on the Edmonton Oilers, I think we're talking about a 1-game suspension because there would be a significant amount of attention. And so I look at this and I say, Florida is built to win in the playoffs. They obviously have to get there, and that's no guarantee right now with the injuries that they have. But if they get there, I mean, we all know that the playoffs get called differently, and anyone who tries to tell you otherwise is kind of selling you a bill of goods. And if they're already getting kind of some leeway there, given the connections, I think it's hard for anybody to beat them because they know they can do things like elbow guys in the head and get away with it.
And it's also like, I know that people are thinking, well, okay, there's the Campbell connection, and there's all kinds of checks and balances and guardrails to all of this stuff. But the NHL doesn't really operate like a typical business or maybe a publicly viewed industry would. It's basically 32 guys, and the most important ones are the original six fellows and maybe Philadelphia, and they sort of set the tone. And it feels to me as though a team like Edmonton is going to have to grab a player who is like big, physical, and angry for the playoffs. And maybe they were already, but that becomes more a priority if the league is calling the regular season like this.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can say that there isn't nonsense going on, but the reality is we've seen Colin Campbell's emails. We've already seen them, and they've already been out there talking about Mark Savard terribly. They've talked about other players terribly. And quite frankly, that should have cost him his job. And not only did it not cost him his job, he got inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. And so the notion that there are going to be consequences for any of this is outrageous. And so, yeah, if the Edmonton Oilers believe that they are on a likely path to see Florida in the Stanley Cup final, though I am not sure anybody is getting by Colorado this year, given how good they are, I do think it behooves them to maybe acquire somebody who, listen, they might get suspended, but at least there's some level of message sent that if you're going to elbow dudes and you're going to put guys face first through the glass, there's going to be consequences to that. And I mean, look at how Florida's handled Brandon Hagel. Every time that he has played in a game that they have played against each other, they have tried to not very inconspicuously kill him. And so I look at that and I go, yeah, if you're another team who thinks you're going to play Florida in the playoffs, you know you're not getting the benefit of the doubt from the league or the Department of Player Safety. You might as well go out and get whatever you want to call it, a thug, and go from there.
Yeah, I think that's the way. Rachel Krychak joining us from Betalytics on Sports 1440 in the Lowdown with Lowetide. Oilers have a difficult decision to make in net soon. Tristan Jarry about to come off LTIR the next while. He's been injured twice this year. Have you seen enough of Connor Ingram to keep him over Calvin Pickard, even with the idea that Pickard would be vulnerable to waivers and you could send Ingram down without waivers now?
I think for now, you probably have to send Ingram down simply because you can ill afford to lose a goaltender to waivers. Now, given that the Ottawa Senators just signed James Reimer, I don't think that there is anybody in the league that's particularly vulnerable to taking a goaltender off of waivers right now, but you always want to have asset management there. Now, I don't think it's a discussion come April. I think it has to be Tristan Jarry and Connor Ingram. He has more than shown that he is a better option than Calvin Pickard. So from an asset management perspective, I think what you do is you send Ingram down and you tell Bakersfield he is your starter and that is the end, but do not run him into the ground because we will be recalling him come the playoffs. And so that's probably the approach that I would take, in the sense of, you don't know if Tristan Jarry is going to remain healthy. You don't know that if Calvin Pickard is going to remain healthy, and you can ill afford to lose any of your 3 goaltenders to waivers. And so that's probably what I would do, is send Ingram down because you know it's a guarantee that he can stay down there. And then you know that your plan is he is the 1B guy come the playoffs, and he's getting as much game time as possible in Bakersfield to make sure that he is sharp and he is ready for that.
Oilers coach Chris Knobloch ran McDavid and Draisaitl together in the LA King game. They're very effective together, obviously. And then he ran them really heavily in overtime. I was rather surprised at how much time they got. And my question is that wise? Edmonton does have other skilled players. And a tired McDavid and Draisaitl is still great, but maybe Nuge and Hyman could play for a while.
Yeah, I would run McDavid and Draisaitl probably just as much, but I would deploy them differently. In overtime, if I'm the Edmonton Oilers, I would legitimately have a rule that only McDavid and Draisaitl are allowed to replace each other. So I wouldn't play them together unless it's a power play. And I would say, okay, if McDavid starts, if he's coming off, Draisaitl is going on. And those two are the only two that are allowed to change with each other. That way, you never have a scenario in overtime where either one of them is not on the ice. And then you also cycle in Nugent Hopkins and Matthew Savoy and Zach Hyman and Jack Roslovic, and you keep those guys fresh. But I think, you're absolutely right. Even a tired McDavid and Draisaitl is probably better than most. And on the back end, I think you have to cycle through pretty evenly. Bouchard probably heavily just because he is that offensive guy and you're trying to win. But from a McDavid Draisaitl perspective, 2.5 minutes each and let the cards fall where they may. Now, if you get a power play, then it has to be Bouchard, McDavid, Draisaitl, and then one of Nugent Hopkins or Hyman. And then obviously they come back for a rest. Maybe you use your timeout to give one of them a rest. But you have that luxury. Why wouldn't you just say, okay, you two are changing with each other, and that way I have one of my nuclear weapons on the ice at all times?
What in HE double hockey sticks is going on in New Jersey with the Devils? 2-7-1 in the last 10, and then they healthy scratch Dougie Hamilton. This does not seem to be an organization that is running at optimal in terms of their decision making.
And it's not even just that. Apparently the quality of their ice playing surface is not up to where the players and coaches would like it to be either. So there's a whole lot going on in New Jersey right now, and suffice to say, none of it is good. If you look at it, there's no way to look at this other than it is a gross cap mismanagement by the New Jersey Devils, whether it be salary or no trade clauses being handed out like they're Halloween candy. Like, what is Andre Palat and Connor Brown and some of those guys doing with any type of trade protection? Dougie Hamilton, and this is where it gets a little different for me. Dougie Hamilton went to the New Jersey Devils at a time when it absolutely was not popular to go to the New Jersey Devils. He was the first major free agent to choose the New Jersey Devils. And to treat him like this, I think, is probably sending a message around the league that isn't very becoming. And we're also talking about a dressing room that has both of the Hughes brothers. And whether it's true or not true, the optics that not getting Quinn caused a riff in that locker room are inescapable. And if you look at the Devils' records since that Hughes trade happened and he didn't become a New Jersey Devil, it's really hard to ignore. And I think you also have, my colleague at ESPN, Greg Wyshynski, pointed out, you also have a scenario where Luke Hughes is being treated differently because of his last name, and he has been over the first 3.5 years of his career. And I think that that is problematic because right now he's their highest paid player. He is certainly not playing like it. And now you're scratching a defenseman who makes $9 million and he is nowhere near their worst defenseman. Brett Pesce has not been very good. Simon Nemec came back from injury. Kovacevic back from injury. But like Brendan Dillon, not very good. Luke Hughes, not very good. So this seems like a singling out. And quite frankly, I think their issues off the ice, potentially in the locker room, and with their cap sheet are a lot bigger than their issues on the ice. And that's saying something because outside of like the Winnipeg Jets and the Ottawa Senators, I don't think there's a worse team in the NHL right now. And that includes the Vancouver Canucks.
So Saturday, I'm watching, I think it was Saturday, I'm watching, flipping around, and I'm like, hey, man, the Bruins are on. And I always watch the Bruins. And then I watch them dismantle the Rangers. New York looks truly awful, or at least they did in that game. What needs to happen in Manhattan for the Rangers?
Yeah, I had the unfortunate pleasure of watching every moment of that game, given my husband's affinity for the New York Rangers. And just watching his meltdown kind of told me everything I needed to know because he is not an overreactive fan. He's like, listen, there's going to be down years, there's going to be up years. And when he starts to get angry about one of his teams, I sort of can tell that something's up. And paying attention to the New York Rangers more just because we have conversations about it over dinner, I don't think that there's another option other than to trade out some of those veterans. Artemi Panarin is an unrestricted free agent at the end of this year, and the New York Rangers don't feel like they're going anywhere. And so why wouldn't you try and recoup assets? Can you retain on his salary? And does a team like Colorado want him? Does a team like Dallas want him? Does Minnesota want him? Like there are so many different teams. Does Edmonton want them? Can they even make that work? And so I think you're doing a disservice by not looking at your trade options. The thing I wonder about the most is the impact of taking JT Miller and Vincent Trocheck to the Olympics and not Adam Fox. Adam Fox did everything he could to be a New York Ranger, and this is how his coach and GM repay him when they didn't even bother to battle for him when he is so very clearly one of the best 8 American defensemen on this planet. I wonder if something is happening there. I think the decision to make JT Miller your captain, when we have seen time and again, be it in Tampa Bay, Vancouver, or New York, that when things are great, he's great. And when things are bad, he is downright awful. I think that's probably not the guy that they should have opted to make their culture leader. Can they trade Mika Zibanejad? You need to start sending assets out, and assets cannot be coming in unless they are very young or draft picks at this point. I think it's a disservice to the organization and to the long-term success of the New York Rangers to try and make this team better for this year.
If you were asked by Stan Bowman whether the Oilers should pursue Panarin or Hamilton, what would you say?
The answer would be Dougie Hamilton, and I would not think twice about it. And I'll tell you why. So his offense has fallen off a lot. But the great thing about the Edmonton Oilers is he's not going to be on their number 1 power play unit as a defenseman because that's Evan Bouchard's job. Where Dougie Hamilton has actually been quite good is defensively. He is big. He is right-handed. He can move the puck extremely effectively, and his defensive game in transition has been very, very good. Now, that's not worth $9 million. You need some offense. But if you're the Edmonton Oilers and you can figure out a way to get Dougie Hamilton, be it retained, be it through any other creative ways that JP Barry has alluded to, I would absolutely take a swing on Dougie Hamilton because, quite frankly, I think a pairing of him and Evan Bouchard would be tremendous. I think Hamilton has the chance to hide a lot of Bouchard's defensive gaffes. If you don't play him with him, can you play him with Nurse? I think that's another pair that could work, that could actually help potentially elevate Darnell Nurse. There are so many options there. And so I would look at that and I would say, I have the opportunity to absolutely bolster my defense and Dougie Hamilton can play PP 2 minutes, that is a scenario I would look at. Now, it depends on what the price is. I highly doubt that the Devils are going to want to retain, which means I'm not sure that it could work. But I don't think, if you're the Edmonton Oilers, I don't think standing pat is an option here. I think that Hamilton's clearly available and it feels like Panarin maybe. I think you have to go after both of them. And if you have the chance to get both, then you make a decision on which one you really want.
Very informative. Thank you, Rachel. Appreciate it. Have a great week.
You too, Lowetide.
There you go. Rachel Krychak from Betalytics, ESPN, and we appreciate her time. Just during that interview, I got word that Gary Sutter, the only Sutter brother not to play hockey in the NHL, passed away New Year's Eve in Viking. Sports 1440 sends deepest condolences to the Sutter family and everybody associated with the Sutter family. Okay, on the way, Jason Greger will join us at 1:20. We have Declinations, Mama MMA at 1:40, and we'll talk a little NFL football, Monday Nighter, and the weekend's activities straight ahead. This is the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube. It's time for an update with Declan Krueger.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Custom Floors Inc. Floors done right for homes or businesses. Visit the new showroom, 11577 49th Street. Now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 to 2. You can also visit customfloorsinc.ca and bring your next flooring project to life. NHL action. The Oilers, of course, in Chicago taking on the Blackhawks. 6:30 puck drop for that one. The over-under currently set at 6.5. The line, Edmonton at -155. The NHL will get going with 4 games at 5 o'clock. Florida and Buffalo, Carolina and Detroit, Seattle and New York, and Tampa Bay and Philadelphia to take on the Flyers. Late games in the league, we'll see Toronto and Colorado versus the Avs, and Dallas and LA versus the Kings. In the NFL, of course, wildcard weekend wrapping up with the Texans and Steelers. 6:15 kickoff for that one. The line for that one currently 3 for Houston, and the over-under set at 38.5. In the NBA, action gets going with one game at 5. Utah and Cleveland. The Raptors also in action, playing host to the Philadelphia 76ers at 5:30. And the late game in the league, we'll see the Charlotte Hornets in LA to take on the Clippers at 8:30. Other news around the sporting world: the Hamilton Tiger Cats have added former Red Blacks head coach Bob Dice to their staff. In that Raptors game, Brandon Ingram is questionable, and RJ Barrett and Jakob Poeltl will be out. And the Ottawa Senators have signed James Reimer to a 1-year, $850,000 deal for the remainder of the season. I'm Declan Krueger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440 Stingray Radio Station. CHJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Vimy and Don in Hockey are dedicated to skill development for all hockey players. If you know a student athlete interested in growing as a person and a player, register for a free shadow day. Beginner or experienced, this program develops a student athlete skill in a supportive environment. It's a great opportunity for prospective student athletes entering grades 3 through 12 to see what Vimy and Donnan have to offer. Visit vimyridge.epsb.ca or donnan.epsb.ca for more info and to sign up.
Planning your next event? Let Loca Quality Market cater. From made-to-order meals to gourmet platters to full chef tasting experiences, they make entertaining effortless. Visit loca.ca to start planning today.
Wing Wednesday at First Round. Whether you're coming for the first round, the last round, or a few rounds in between, they've got you covered with half-price wings every Wednesday night. Half-price wings. Over 35 delicious flavors like Cajun salt and pepper, maple bacon, and Inferno wings. Now half price every Wednesday night. Wash them down with a cold pint of Canadian or Coors Light for only $5.75. Half price Wing Wednesdays at First Round in West Ed and now downtown. First Round, burgers, beer, sports.
Get the Lowdown with Lowetide. Weekdays from noon to 2 on Sports 1440. He's seen it all and then some. From stats to stories, he breaks it down like no one else. Proud to be Edmonton's sports leader. Sports 1440.
I'm tired of waking up tired. Are you tired of waking up tired? Come visit our sleep experts at the Brick Mattress Store. Get Canada's guaranteed lowest prices on all things sleep. Plus, try your new mattress for 6 months. If you don't love it, we'll find one you do. Some conditions apply. Stop waking up tired. Get the right mattress, guaranteed. Only at the Brick Mattress Store.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Author, musical connoisseur, sports know-it-all. Yes, a man for all seasons.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Chicago tonight against the Blackhawks, a very short road trip in the middle of a January run where they should rip off maybe 20 points in 15 games. That might be aggressive, but that would be the goal and a reasonable one. Sam from Vancouver riffing off our conversation about the Oilers needing to get a little more rugged before the playoffs. Tide, we had Kane. He was angry enough. Refs took him out of the series in 2025 as he got all the whistles that Panthers did not. Had a short leash in the off-season or the off-leash area of Panthers playground. You know, I don't think that should deter the Oilers. I'm not absolutely certain what the relationship was between Kane and the Oilers, but I don't think that should keep them from getting a physical winger or center, although that would be very difficult, who can stand up to that kind of activity. And you're going to take penalties. You need to have a good penalty kill, but you can't back down. You're trying to win the Stanley Cup, so you can't get bullied out of a Stanley Cup final. That's not acceptable. And I just wonder, and I mean, I'm just blue skying here. It's mid-season, but it feels like the NHL is becoming more and more a league where 1980s activities, I mean, they don't do they used to grab the player with carrying the puck. They'd put their stick in the midsection and then they'd pull back and glide through the neutral zone to slow the guy down, making him carry two bodies instead of one. They don't do that anymore. But the physicality of the Florida Panthers is, you know, I mean, it's out of its era. It's out of time with this era. And if you're the Edmonton Oilers or the Colorado Avalanche or the Dallas Stars or the Toronto Maple Leafs or whomever, you've got to look at that and go, well, man, if the league isn't going to call it, then we have to play that way and then call them out every time there's 12 penalties on my team and one on the other. You know, the league is in a tough situation here because there is a little bit of conflict of interest and they're not addressing it. And that's not surprising. It's a 32 team club. The owners are in a club. They don't really answer the way you would, you know, in another situation, in another format. And this is the league and this is the world we live in. And they might have to do something about it. All right. Speaking of old-timey stuff, I don't remember when Pittsburgh changed their coach, but it must have been, you know, many, many years ago. The NFL has one more game to go this weekend. It is tonight. Both of my learned friends have picked the same team to win this game. So I ask you here in front of everybody, including a live audience, why do you like the Texans over the Steelers? Whoever wants to begin.
The defense. That's why I like them. They probably have the best defense all the way around in football. And the Steelers, yeah, Aaron Rodgers is very quick to get the ball out of his hands, but I wouldn't say their O-line is top notch. So I think he's going to face a lot of pressures. I'm not going to say it's going to be as bad as Justin Herbert last night. Like, that is unattainably tough to do. 30 quarterback pressures is insane, but I expect some swelling. And on the other side, there's no one particular thing that the Steelers do well. Not even like great, but well. They're just sort of as you watch them, it's just blah all the way through. DK Metcalf is back. Sir slaps a lot, as it's the real deal. Eddie Steele called him earlier today.
Aren't you not overlooking the Steelers' brilliant quarterback?
I don't think
like
I am.
you say that kind of tongue in cheek. He's not bad.
I'm not saying he's bad. I just think he's got a broken wrist. Still has a broken wrist.
It's honestly, there's one thing you can point to with the utmost of confidence in this game, and that's Houston's defense. And that's why I think we believe they win the game.
Okay.
That being said, Mike Tomlin still has not lost a primetime Monday Night Football game in his career.
And I can't even lie. The more I think about this game, the more I talk myself into the Steelers a little bit. I'm still taking the Texans.
I've asked you, for whatever this game came up, about the Steelers and about their home record and about, and I'm interested in seeing how this game goes. Partly because of what you guys have said, and you were so right on, Josh specifically, over the weekend. Now, may I do this? May I extrapolate to the coming weekend? Let's say that the Texans do win, and then, as I understand it, they'll play the Patriots on Sunday. Who do you like in that game?
That's a really good question. I think I probably the winner of this game will play the Patriots regardless. Broncos Bills is locked in. I think I like the Texans.
Interesting.
The Texans win?
I think so. I don't know, man. I just really this is, I guess, my thing. What's the best unit on the field? Texans defense.
American dollar
has got, but second best is
and Drake May is going to be the best player on the field.
Best player on the field. They're going to have the best offense on the field. With
respect to like Derek Stingley, I know quarterback and corner much different. I don't know.
Well, we got a week to talk about it, but
yeah. And this is all hypothetical.
Texans might lose 31-0 tonight.
Yeah. That being said, the Steelers also haven't won a playoff game since 2016.
Bills Broncos. I'm assuming we're going to go Bills.
I like the Bills, but they got a lot of work to do this week.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Bills. Obviously,
they're so good against the run.
I'm going to pick the Bills, obviously, but it's just that's
the funny thing is the
Broncos
aren't really good at running.
Yeah.
Which means
it's funny because they can't really it feels like they can't really pass the ball either. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so they're
you don't really have to worry about the run if you're
their thing is
low.
death
Bring
by
back
1,000
Manning.
cuts. We just have to stop you, and we have to get 2 touchdowns.
And they fully have the capability of doing it.
And
we saw today we saw on yesterday when a good running defense met a good rushing offense and a good rushing player, James Cook. Like the rushing defense kind of went out. I know the Bills won the game, but Jackson's defense stood really tall. That makes me nervous playing the Broncos.
49ers Seahawks is interesting, but I think we would probably favor the Seahawks.
Yeah, I mean, no Kittle, so I guess I have to. I do really like what the Seahawks, but honestly, that game's a coin flip. I'd be cool picking either way. Where do you go?
For Seahawks Niners,
I'd probably go Seahawks. But
I think I have to go Seahawks on this one.
Coin flip is fair.
I think coin flip is fair because Brock Purdy is I think 5-2 in his career in the playoffs, in which he plays the entire game, and one of which was a Super Bowl where he never walked off the field not having the lead.
Yeah.
The final game next weekend is going to be Rams-Bears, and I was so impressed with you guys calling the Bears down the line. Rams are a different animal, and they'll probably play the entire game, unlike Green Bay. So who do you like in Rams-Bears? And obviously we're going to ask again Friday. I'm just first blush asking.
Yeah. I do, my initial reaction, and I'm glad we're doing this first blush style because I did, the Rams were my first take on it. But the more I think about it, the Rams, I still believe what I say, when they play to their top level abilities, they're, maybe the best team in the league, but they kind of just don't really do that all the time. And Chicago has a lot of fight in them. And what Ben Johnson has dialed up in the guys, they really believe in. So I get, but Chicago's going to be home too. It's a Cali team going out to cold weather in Chicago.
And this is an unfair question because we're a week away. So I understand that I'm asking you to really, make a call that's early.
Yeah, I don't know. No, it's good. It's a great talking point. I'm glad we're doing it. I guess I'd go Rams, but I know I'm really been sitting on the fence the last couple of weeks with the NFL picks. I hate doing that. I like to be a little bit more definitive.
These are tough calls.
I know it's playoff football. It is. It's tough calls.
Give me the Bears.
Nails.
Yeah, well,
nails. I like it.
Caleb Williams had 7 big time throws on Saturday night alone. which I don't remember what the metric for understanding big time throws is. I don't remember like what the criteria is, like clutch time in the NBA. But he had 7. That's more than Patrick Mahomes has in his entire career in the playoffs. And he had it in 1 game.
En route to an 18-point comeback victory.
Yeah, like they scored 25 points in the fourth quarter. And I think we've seen that, well, obviously the Bears don't have a great defense. So Puka Nacua will be able to catch and run all over them. However,
this one feels shootouty.
This is going to be a shootout.
Both teams
and
in the
honestly,
30s.
all things considered, I believe in Caleb Williams and DJ Moore from what I've seen all season long, essentially, of what they've done. They have 8 comeback wins now, if you include Saturday's game. And
it's a good stat.
The Rams got absolutely smoked by the Panthers in week 13, and then they almost got killed this week.
Life and death with them in the playoffs.
And so I think I lean Bears in this one, and Ben Johnson is crafty.
A question left over from the weekend that I was going to ask earlier when we talked NFL, and I didn't think to. Where do the Chargers go from here? Because they were in that game.
I think it's possible Harbaugh's getting fired.
I don't know about that. I think they can really sell themselves on we would have been a better team with healthy Joe Alt,
Right.
Rashawn Slater.
Right. They had some,
and I think they kind of have to sell themselves on that because, quite frankly, I think the reality of the Chargers is this is probably as good as this regime is going to be. Like, they might get slightly better. They might win they might get a better skill position player, but I don't think they are all of a sudden with Justin Herbert and with the makeup of the team going to become a Super Bowl winning team. Maybe they do. Maybe
what if they went Eric Coryell?
Maybe it happens like 5-6 years down the line, but I just think like the reality is they're probably just a good team that isn't good enough, which happens, but they can sell themselves on, hey, no Joe Alt, no Rashawn Slater. And they probably have to kind of keep their wits about them and their sanity to them.
Todd says,
that's fair.
Todd says, hi, Lowetide. How do you figure the Oilers can afford Hamilton? I don't. I just said it would be a really nice, I get that I would be interested in. Declan, Rams secondary is free food and their linebackers are horrific. If they can't get a pass rush, they're cooked.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that, right? Like, we saw it this past weekend. I don't know. That's why I guess I'm sitting on the fence about it. I would, Montana to Rice. Yeah, like I would still say he's a huge football guy, knows the game very well. I would say that he probably would agree with me that when they play to their top level of ability, their top level of ability is higher than the Bears. But again, they just don't, and maybe he disagrees, but again, maybe they just don't, or sorry, they haven't been doing that. And I think that's what gives everyone pause.
I think if this comes down to the fourth quarter, it's still the Bears.
I can roll with that. I can rock with that.
But Josh here, by the way.
Declan here. Yes. Yeah. I'm going to start saying that. Sorry.
No.
Good show. Good
Yeah.
show. Good show.
I've never seen that.
And this is Lowetide speaking now.
Montana to Rice. How come there's not any Montana to Dwight Clarks?
Yeah. There is a Burrow to Chase.
Like on the text
line, yeah.
We also have a Culpepper to Moss, I think. Or no, not Culpepper to Moss.
Carter?
Yeah, Culpepper to Carter.
Yeah.
CC. I like that. Can you guys start calling me?
No.
Can you guys start calling me Durant to Dressler?
I can.
Little wordy, but
I remember they were real good. Fantus. Man, I liked watching them. They were a good football club. Mine would be, I guess, Moon to Kelly. That would be mine.
well, I guess you could do a different sport. Like was there an Expos pitcher to catcher combo you really like?
Oh, well, sure. I would go, wow. I would go
Johnson to whoever the catcher was.
No, it would be earlier than that. I would go Gullickson to Carter.
Ooh.
Or Rogers to Carter.
I like that.
But Steve Rogers was like, I loved him, and hey, like, you know, sports is a thing where you love a team and you love a player, but when they don't do stuff, you get mad at them, right? I'd have to think about it. But Randy Johnson to Darren Fletcher, who would have been the catcher?
I don't know. I can look it up in a second here.
It's okay. I'm just teasing you. He didn't play for the Expos very long. They traded him for Mark Langston. Gene Harris, Brian Holman, Randy Johnson set up the Mariners for years and years and years. Hell of a trade. All right, 116. And on declinations today at 145, what are you doing, sir?
I mean, man, you guys know that I love keeping to a schedule. I love keeping to routine. The reality is, I just don't think there's really much MMA content to talk about. Brian Ortega and Mackenzie Dern were at the Golden Globes for some reason. So I don't know. Maybe I'll just do whatever you guys want to do.
Well,
We'll play ABBA.
Exactly, and then we'll maybe, because we're going to talk about the Oilers in the game tonight in this segment coming up with Jason Gregor. But maybe we'll get back a little bit to the NFL.
Yeah, like this isn't just me like lazy not prepping for the segment. Like there's really thin pickings for MMA today.
Nobody would call you lazy. Nobody.
I would.
Listen, I feel like you can say a lot about me. Like you can say I have bad takes, I'm uninformed. Maybe that's all true and I can eat that. That's fine. But I will, like I do, for all the joking we do, I do work hard.
Well, I would say this. The only criticism I have of you is that you're not going to reach out for help to fly to Europe to get the hairpiece.
True.
I'm just
That
saying.
is a big X on my.
All right. Gregor's next. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
The new double cheesy melt at McDonald's. We're talking 2 juicy, mouth-watering 100% Canadian beef patties, 2 slices of cheesy goodness, with even more melty, cheesy sauce on top. Topped with pickles, then crispy and grilled onions. The way it all comes together, you don't just eat it, you melt into it. The double cheesy melt, only at McDonald's. For a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Made for some rough roads, but it means trails are now packed and ready for action. Don't miss out on riding adventures this winter with a Ski-Doo from Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo. Work or play with new 2026 Generation 5 models with class-leading design and power. And right now, take advantage of 5.99% financing OAC. Only at Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo. 15 Inglewood Drive in St. Albert. And always at riversidehonda.com. Shop local, shop Canadian.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Big guests, bigger takes. Jason Gregor brings the names you know and the stories you don't. Weekdays, 2 to 6 on Sports 1440. Don't miss a minute of the action on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Happy New Year from Metal Supermarkets. They'd like to thank you for making them your place to shop for metal and for quick, efficient precision cutting and metal bending. If your resolutions for 2026 include a new project, commercial or residential, they're here to help. And speaking of resolutions, I'm taking up pickleball.
11-0. I win.
Great. Now I can nap.
It's best of 3.
Not in my kitchen, kid. Metal Supermarkets, the local convenience stores for Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
This is the sound of a Toyota Tundra hauling a custom, fully furnished ice hut out to the lake. And this is the sound of a Tundra hauling home some store-bought frozen cod when the lake didn't deliver. Two extremes, one Tundra with serious towing capacity. Now's the time to get yours. It's time to Toyota. Lease a 2026 Tundra 4x4 Double Cat SR5 from $149 weekly for 60 months at 4.99% with $7,599 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your Prairie Toyota dealer today.
This is the story of a girl.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
On Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick, family-owned, community-driven. We're making it easy. Visit WolfGMCBuick.com. Hey, save that country music for Twang Tuesday, Declan. Come on now.
Quick on this one. It was about to get good. That's all I'm going to say.
It sounded good to me. All right, we're joined now by our friend Jason Gregor, who's live on the radio at 2 o'clock today. Jason, how was your weekend?
Well, it was pretty good. So lots of fun. It's Edmonton Minor Hockey Week, and then
nice weather, so it's a win-win.
Yeah, I know you coach, but you just don't seem as intense as a lot of the coaches who are dads that I talk to.
There's time. Well, definitely not intense, like, yelling at officials or anything crazy like that. But no, like I take pride in if our kids improve. That to me is the most rewarding thing. And our kids' passing and positioning has improved. So you know what? At the end of the year, if the kids all come back and play next year, then I didn't ruin it. So that's a good sign.
There you go. Steps forward are the key. Go in the right direction. I thought the McDavid goal should have counted in overtime. It doesn't matter. It was 1 point that they lost, but I thought that was a goal. What was your take on the McDavid non-goal in overtime?
Well, they ruled it no goal on the ice, so it's hard to overturn those ones. I can see the argument for it. He's coming hard to the net. And I guess they're going to say, well, don't cut in the crease, right? That's McDavid's new move now is you see him, and that's something that actually, they work with Connor Allen on, is when you come across, go all the way and put that puck in the far post, because usually the goalies just don't have, especially with his speed, they can't get across in time. And how many goals have we seen him score like that? So, it's kind of a set decision, I think, by him. He kind of knows what he's doing even before he gets there, even at top speed. And there was some contact. Now, was it enough to stop it? I don't think so, because the goalie got across. His pad was right there. It just went in off his pad. So I could see the argument why. Like, I'm not a big believer in taking away goals. Now, the problem is, if you allow that, then more guys start running the goalie through the crease, right? That's always going to be their challenge. So they've kind of made a decision that, hey, if you come in the crease on your own, then it's not a goal. That's kind of the new rule.
I also feel like we're getting new rules, or at least non-calls on some pretty dangerous hits, specifically by the Florida Panthers, and one on the weekend that really caught my eye. And I'm wondering, I don't want to take it too far, but I'm wondering if the playoff rule book has found its way to the regular season, and I pick on the Panthers, but maybe it's across the league. That seemed like a very dangerous hit, and the Florida Panthers have been doing this a lot lately.
Well, the Verhaeghe hit on Zub is the one I'm assuming you're talking about, where Zub's 3 feet from the boards, and I don't understand. Well, I do. The NHL has made it clear that they don't care about hits from behind. They don't enforce them. They don't suspend players for it. They just don't do it. Now, do I think it's idiotic? 1,000%. But the NHL, and I know everybody wants to blame just George Parros. It's not just George Parros, because the league, the GMs, no one's calling for this to change. They all wanted to get rid of headshots. And guess what happens? Headshots have pretty much been eliminated from hockey. No more chicken wings, because they made suspension strong enough and people asked for it. And I know the risk is people are concerned that guys will turn their back on purpose. Well, it's called common sense. We can see when a player turns. Zoop didn't turn. In fact, Zoop did what most D-men do now. When you're racing for a puck back, you kind of slow down to absorb the contact beforehand, right? That's what they do now. Well, but Verhaeghe clearly extends his arms in the lower back to catapult him into the boards. There's no doubt in my mind that is a dangerous play. And I don't even care that, I heard right away in the broadcast, Carter Verhaeghe isn't that type of player. When you do something, you are that type of player in that moment. It is the most idiotic claim ever. Hey, you know what? This guy just sucker punched someone in the face. Well, he's never done it before, but he just did it. So because he's never done it before, well, it means he didn't mean to do it. What do you mean? He made a conscious effort, conscious decision to make that play. Verhaeghe, he might not be dirty, but he was dirty then. I don't care what they did in the past. You punish it for what happened that play. You don't say, well, you know what? If that was, I don't care, pick your poison, Max Domi, someone else, well, then we got to suspend him. But it's Carter Verhaeghe. So if he throws a guy head first in the boards, it's okay because he's never done it before. Like, what? It's such a ridiculous argument. And I'm stunned when I hear broadcasters and writers and fans say, well, it's not the type of player he is. Yes, it is, because he just did it. That's who he is. Unless Sam Bennett switched jerseys, it was Carter Verhaeghe.
Yeah, I agree with you totally on that. Jason Gregor, our guest, will be live on the radio at 2 o'clock today. The lineup today, morning skate in Chicago for the game tonight. Mangiapane taking in on the Roslovic line with Savoy. Howard out. That's what it looked this morning. Is this might be a showcase, or they just want to get the youngster a view from the press box for a time?
Yeah, Howard, I was watching the game very closely last night, and I saw that Howard make a few decisions with the puck at times that led to turnover, so that's part of it. But the other thing is everybody's overlooking this. It's a dad trip. Every guy on the trip is playing this game. People have to understand as a coach, there are certain times where you have to look at the human element of this. Jake Wallman's going to play tomorrow. Calvin Pickard's going to play tomorrow. And Ike Howard will play tomorrow. Mark my words. They're all going to play tomorrow. And so somebody had to come out, and it would be Howard. Now, Mangiapane might come right back out after one game, but you don't bring a father's trip and then not play a player on a father's trip. If you want to lose respect in your room, that's how you do it. So sometimes you have to take a step back. And I know everybody, Mangiapane's struggling. Yes, he is. But he's not going to sit out. It's not like that line has been killing it, right? I think they're -3. So, let's be real here. I know he's a young player and everyone's excited about the future and they're mad about Mangiapane, but there's bigger things at play. And for one game, I don't think it's an issue. Ike Howard is not a difference maker. Mangiapane's not a difference maker. The Oilers winning and losing tonight is not going to rest on the shoulders of which one of those two is playing.
Howard does chase the zone a little bit. I see him doing that in Bakersfield when I'm watching online. And is in your opinion, is he improving away from the puck?
It's really hard to do at the end. It's hard for any young player to do. I know guys who are 5, 6, 7 years in the league. Ike Howard's never going to be a Selke Trophy nominee. 95% of forwards aren't, and so that's okay. It was, to me, was actually some of his decisions with the puck where I thought last game is why he might be skied in a reset. And you just say, okay, you reset. Here you go. You're not going to hold him out long. He'll be back. Yeah. And there was a few times where, and it's odd because he's dumping the puck when I don't think they want him to dump the puck. Right. That was I saw that twice. And then there was 2 times in the defensive zone where he had the puck right at the blue line now, and you kind of call it the death zone. When you're a foot from the blue line and you don't get it out, that infuriates a coach more than anything else. I can tell you now the coaching even at U13 at that level when you're a foot away, because so many plays get extended in the offensive zone because of that, and often it leads to goals again.
Yeah, that's fair. It's Ingram tonight. Jari rumored to be coming off in the next little while. They have to make a decision eventually in goal, keep 3, send down Pickard with waivers or Ingram without. I think the play here for Stan Bowman is to send Ingram down and then recall later if there's an injury. Fair?
Well, it's the one that makes the most sense to protect yourself, that you have 3 goalies. Right? Has Calvin Pickard necessarily outplayed Ingram since he got recalled? No. So is it fair? No, if you're basing it on that, right? So I can understand those who say, hey, you should do that. Now, the other option is they could just keep 3 goalies and send a forward down, right? You could do that. You don't have to have that many forwards if you don't want it. But now that Henrique is hurt, probably not as much of an option, because then you'd be 12-3. Although, you know what, I'd have to crunch the numbers because Henrique will be moved to LTIR when Jari comes off. But they still have to send one other body down. So, yeah, it's probably got to be a goalie now that Henrique is hurt. So that's what they'll do. And, you live with it. It's probably a short-term one because, remember, after the trade deadline now, you can expand the roster as long as your cap fits. So, you could. I don't think Ingram, if he does go back down, will be there for very long. Other than he'll be down there over the Olympic break,
right,
and that keeps him playing.
Yeah,
and he's also on a one-way deal, so it's not like you're screwing him out of money, right? Like it's a little bit different there. Like a guy like Isaac Howard, I'm certain, even if he's on the Oilers roster on February 3rd or 4th, they'll probably reassign him to Bakersfield because he's a young player and they want to play him.
Do you, when Wallman comes back, do you put him with Nurse or do you put him on the third pairing?
I guess it depends if you put him on the third pairing, then you're moving Stastny over to, you're going to move, you got 4 lefties that you want to play. So somebody has to play the right side. So it's a matter of, do you want Wallman? And I think Jake Wallman's a better player than Ty Emberson overall. But for the first game in Nashville, could you play him with Stastny on the right, one of them on the right side? You could, right? Like Ty Emberson has been steady and solid, and then you kind of have like a second and a third pair, but maybe they play very even like minutes, right? And so that's what we might see here. But It's first game back. You might play him with Nurse's first game back because they have played together beforehand, right? It's not like he's had a ton of practice time with Stastny or Emberson, if that's who they're going to play him with, because those are the options, right? Like, I don't think they're going to split up Ekholm and Bouchard. It would make a ton of sense to me. So, Wallman can play the right side. Stastny can play the right side. So it's just going to be a matter of which one of them plays the right side.
NFL weekend was wild. There's another game tonight. What did you see and what did you like? And are you prepared to deal with Connor today after that Chargers game last night?
Well, I thought you and Connor would probably get your tears out together. So you guys are you're both out.
We did. Yeah,
exactly. So that's good. Well, Connor, I don't think Connor expected his team to win that much. They were close, but not really, the way at the end. And the Patriots just were the better team. The decimated O-line of the Chargers caught up with them for sure. And I'll say this, the Chargers were the best deep ball defense in the NFL this year, and they got beat by a few deep balls. So give the Patriots credit that they connected on a few plays where normally you don't beat the Chargers. The Eagles 49ers game, man, that's a tough loss for the Eagles when the 49ers lose George Kittle and they're still able to beat you.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a big blow. The offense of the Eagles, Alec, it's hard to flip a switch, and their offense never really seemed to be that great in sync all season long, right? Barkley didn't run the way he went. And I like Barkley's, everyone who wants to blame the OCs. Offense isn't just one person. I think as a group, they underachieved with the talent level they have, right? Maybe it's a bit of fatigue. I don't know. I just think they weren't as good. They weren't as crisp. They weren't as sharp this year. So they'll come back. They'll still be a very competitive team. I look at that Jacksonville game was a hell of a game.
It was.
Against the Buffalo Bills. You know what? Jacksonville was right there with them. They're going to regret not getting it in the end zone, right? Like, that turnovers crushed them, right? At the end of the day, that cost them the game. So I thought they played really well. Josh Allen in the second half was excellent for Buffalo. Man, they're decimated now even more with injuries. They came into that game with a lot of injuries in the receiving core, and the receivers played really well. So give Buffalo a lot of credit. I kind of like Buffalo on the road in Denver, man. I just do. So we'll see what happens there. And then tonight's game, I don't really know who to pick, to be honest. The biggest thing that's interesting, and I know they've done it now for 4 years in a row, Al, but the number one seeds play on Saturday coming out of it, right? So then they get an extra day from if they win before the championship. But this just shows you that the NFL cares more about money on a Monday night than they do about equality. Because had you played the Steelers and Houston on Sunday, you could have had the number one seeds both play on Sunday, and the other games are So then the guys who played them, which just happened to be Buffalo and 49ers, they get an extra day's rest. But you can't. What can you do? Although even if you would have played the Steelers on Sundays, somebody's going to have to play on 6 days rest.
Yeah.
It's just impossible to get around it. So, you know what? What do? You can't predict who the number one team is going to play until they bring in 8 teams in the playoffs, right?
Yes.
Then you could then there's no buys, but then you can guarantee, okay, here how we go Saturday. You can look at it, and it's going to be even for everybody, and away you go. So I still believe that that's coming. I don't know how soon it's going to come. But the NFL is all about money, and 2 extra playoff games is big money. And so I think we will see that down the road.
Yeah, I think that's a fair prediction. What's coming up on the show today, Jason?
Well, Kevin Woodley will be by. We'll be talking some Spencer Knight and some other goaltending numbers. Hey, what about Nashville? They're 15-8 in their last 23 games. Now, they're still outside the playoff picture, and they're still technically a bottom 10 team. But they're 22nd. They're 23rd, I should say, but they're 2 points out of being 19th. So it's close. They've become way more competitive all of a sudden, so that'll be a tough game. But, it's the Oilers in Nashville, and Leon Draisaitl beats them for fun. So we'll talk about Saros and Sorokin now, the best goal. I think the guy who's been the best goal in the NHL this year. He's coming to town on Thursday. So we'll get a really good scouting report on the goaltenders. From Woodley, we'll talk some NFL. We'll go to Chicago. Connor Bedard is back in the lineup, and even a little CFL chat, Al, as we're getting close to some guys here I think are not going to get their bonuses, so they're going to get released. Trey Ford at the top of that list for the green and gold, so we'll touch on that a little bit.
Beautiful. Thanks. Appreciate it. Have a good show.
You too, Al.
There you go. Jason Krueger will join you at 2 o'clock today about 25 minutes from now. Man, that the Eastern Conference is just like, I mean, honest to God, if you're Columbus, you're like, you got 45 points in 45 games. That's an 82-point base, and you're 8 points, 7 points out of a playoff spot. But you've got like 7 teams that you got to catch. 8 teams you got to catch. So nuts NHL standings right now. I'm sure Gary's very happy. That Bettman point is really paying off. On the way, it's Mama MMA, but we're going to riff a little bit on the NFL and a few other things as well during the next 15 minutes. This is the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business, and for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So, when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
When picking a New Year's resolution, try to avoid things you have no influence over.
Like bringing home the cup? That would be awesome.
But completely outside your control. Instead, pick something you can control, like bringing home some Wilhauk beef jerky.
That would also be awesome. But what if we brought the cup home to Canada and it was filled with Wilhauk beef jerky?
Okay, I'll allow it.
Wilhauk beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't win cups with salad.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Top quality flooring, locally owned, and Canadian products from Beaulieu. Yeah, that's CFI.
CFI what?
No, CFI, Custom Floors Inc.
From free estimate to professional installation, contact Custom Floors Inc. at customfloorsinc.ca.
He's heading into the driveway. Temperature's dropping fast, folks. He opens the hood and, oh no, the battery's on thin ice.
Yeah, that's a tough break, Tim. I mean, you can't expect to compete and win with weak parts in your game like that.
But wait, he's made a clutch move. He's gone to Napa Auto Parts for the win. They've got batteries, winter-grade oils, antifreeze, and wiper blades built for cold Alberta conditions.
That's a championship play, Tim.
With over 85 Alberta locations, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out, wolfgmcbuick.com. 140. We got a full 20 minutes here for Declan. Usually I rob him of time. Time robber! But not today. Declination's brought to you by Elks Nation. Check out the new website, elksnation.ca. Article, podcast, and more, breaking down the green and gold. The most in-depth Double E football coverage online, elksnation.ca. And as Jason mentioned, some stuff happening in the great CFL here. We're talking about it right now, though. We're talking Mama MMA and maybe some football stuff.
Winter meetings. Yeah, we had a great episode of Elks Nation, Elks 101 earlier today. I guess one thing I'll touch on in the MMA world before we kind of dive back to NFL or wherever you guys want to go. Montana Rice did text in and ask, with the new Paramount deal coming in for the UFC, do we get that here in Canada? and we do not.
Oh dear.
Yeah, Sevi the commish, he'd also texted in last Monday during the segment and made the point that, but no, we will still be paying for the pay-per-views here in Canada until their deal with Sportsnet is over. So
how do you access then?
like anyone who watches it, it's like the say you buy it
Right,
direct
okay.
from your TV
Right.
or from the UFC website.
Okay.
Yeah. It won't be any and like anyone who's kind of a casual fan, like you'll be with someone who knows how to get the pay-per-view going, right? So it's like you'll
my son in our house, if I need anything that's unusual, I call him and then he goes, "What did you do?"
Yeah, exactly, right? Like it's not like if you're like a casual fan who's kind of getting into it and you like go to someone's house, they're just going to be flabbergasted and not know how do we do this? It's not going to be like that.
Okay, I got it. I get you. I hear you.
Oh, also, Bo Nickel Colby Covington and Luke Rockhold went pretty hard at Bo Nickel at the RFA match. I think Bo Nickel beats both of them pretty easily these days.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. So
wish I had more.
That's okay. You know what? I appreciate you doing this because I know you love MMA and I know there's a lot of MMA folks out there. And if they send questions, you will answer them in this segment. I know you will.
Oh, always.
But in the meantime and in between time, there's an opportunity to talk about other things, which is of the teams that lost yesterday, how many coaches do you think will get fired? OC, DC. I don't think any head coaches will get fired, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't think so. The one I would kind of look at as a head coach would be Matt LaFleur. Okay. And I think a big part of that is just it's gotten a little stale there. Like, I think it's kind of similar to what it was with Stefanski. Like, obviously the Browns are infinitely less successful than what the Packers have been, but Stefanski wasn't a bad coach. He got let go because things hadn't really been going well for a while and things were stale. Like, it's tough to compare their situation to the Packers because the Packers are in such a different category than the Browns are. Like, one team's been a playoff team and has had a good raw. Like, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying Stefanski got let go, and Harbaugh you can throw into this conversation as well because things got stale.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it might be like that with Matt LaFleur a little bit, but you did see reports coming out today, like Micah Parsons, other Packers players, they want Matt LaFleur back as their head coach. So maybe that'll keep him safe. Maybe that'll protect him. As far as teams that lost, though, like that's the one that jumps to mind for me.
So if I'm asking you the same question tomorrow and Tomlin lost, is that your answer?
No, I think Tomlin. I think they don't fire anyone. I think they might fire Tomlin if they lose.
Okay.
I think it's time to move on from Tomlin.
Well,
and you asked about OCs as well. I think Kevin Patullo might really be on the hot seat.
Okay.
Oh man, I can't believe he was allowed on the plane yesterday.
Come on. Has anybody ever not let a coach get back on the plane?
I have no idea, but that's just the saying. Like, they
Lane Kiffin at USC.
Yeah. Well, that's Lane Kiffin. I'm sure made his own bed. But
Kevin Patullo made his own bed. You have Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, and Devontae Smith, and you can't have your quarterback throw farther than 15 yards.
Yeah, but they had a problem with
they were trying
some of the wideouts, and then Barkley. I thought he went out of he was limping, visibly limping, and he came back, but he missed a part of the second half.
I'm talking about the entire season altogether. You just had a running back that had 2,500 all-purpose yards last season.
Yeah,
was an MVP candidate for real.
It hurts.
Montana the Rice said the plane from Philly to Philly, Josh.
Oh yeah, shoot, you're right, dude. Montana to Rice. You know what? Good
awesome.
Shout.
There
Good
you
shout.
go.
That's
That
a
was
great
good.
point. Yeah.
By the way, Eagles fans, I don't know if you noticed or not, online they were all over them, but even in the game, they're like, it takes no time for the Eagles. You win a Super Bowl, and then you win the division, and then you lose in the playoffs, and it's like they turn on you late in the fourth quarter of the game you lose.
Yeah.
That's just pure sports.
There's nothing Eagles fans love more than being just upset.
Yeah.
You mean Philly fans?
Philly fans, yeah, as a whole.
It's they threw snowballs at Santa Claus.
All right, so hold on. Let me reword what I said.
Yeah.
Rather than letting him on the plane, they should have deactivated his key card immediately.
Right. That's fair.
Good retroactive joke. Nothing like a
There you go.
retroactive joke.
We'll just pretend that rest of that didn't happen.
Let me just
I'm trying to
retcon that.
Well, because Josh, you were out of the room. You walked back in. Like the original question Lowetide had pitched was, any coaches of the teams that lost on the hot seat. I said LaFleur would be the one I picked, but it seems like Parsons and other players want him back. You had said Jim Harbaugh. I think that's premature. I don't think they would do that and move on from him. And then also Lowetide had mentioned OCs, DCs, and that's where, you walked in and Kevin Patullo. But I don't know, like, I don't look at, like, okay, so let's just go down the list. Like, Canales, no way. What was the second game on set? Oh, yeah, LaFleur, that was mine. You look at Liam Cohen, no way.
Not a shot.
Kyle Shanahan, I think he should have won Nick Sirianni. Well, he just won a Super Bowl either way, so no way. And then Jim Harbaugh, I don't think so. I think it's premature. I think they can sell themselves on no Slater and no Alt, this being a different team, and then having a bad draw in the playoffs.
Yeah, I guess like all that put together. But I think this is sort of the same thing with the other Harbaugh. It's like, man, if they let him go, I don't think I'd be fully surprised. Not that I'm like calling for his job or something, but it's like, God, I don't even know. Like the Chargers just seem like a lost franchise a little bit.
It sucks because I want Connor to win a Super Bowl so he can have the joy I've had, and he's suffered not as long as I have, but nobody has. I'm older than in dirt here, compared to everybody else. But he missed Eric Coryell, so what's that buzz?
We think it's my mic.
It is, yeah. It's funny you bring that up. We were just trying to work that out as well. I do believe it is Josh's mic.
It's probably because of overuse.
Oh, quiet you.
He's been
you want me to shut this off, big dog? No, we're workshopping it over here.
Okay, all right. I don't remember what I was saying.
We can share a mic if that mic really starts to bother you.
A little duet thing. Your Peaches and Herb, you reunited over there. Do we have an extra backup mic, or do we have to steal one from one of the other radio stations?
No, we don't have an extra backup mic. The extra backup mic is the one I use, so it would just be us doubling up.
Wow. No, it's not.
Oh,
it's
not.
exactly the same. Exactly the same. It sounds like my transistor radio in 1975.
It does sound like a transistor radio. I actually will push back a touch and say I think it sounds a little better. But I mean, I'm
can hear
grasping at
it.
straws.
The hum just stopped now. So there's something wrong. I mean, it may be the voices in my head, too. They are upset about the hum.
Hey, I heard it, too.
Okay.
I heard it, too.
So the next NFL question I have for you boys, because you talked about the coaches and all of that sort of thing. What if you like? I think Howie Roseman, if not the best GM, one of the best GMs in the business. So he's got a pretty damn good roster. He's got a couple of Super Bowls. Chip Kelly's not coming back to town. If Chip Kelly got into town, the Uber driver wouldn't drive him to town. That's how bad it would be. So Roseman's the guy. What would you do in the offseason? Because you've got a quarterback that you guys are down on. You've got a talented receiver who, is a sulky boy. And you've got you still have some aging guys on the lines. He loves doing the lines. He loves drafting for the line. What would you do at the draft, and what would you do in the offseason? Would you contemplate anything at quarterback, or do you just come back again with Hurts?
I don't think you do anything at quarterback.
I don't think you do either.
But I think if there's another season where I'm sorry. I know you're an Eagles fan. I know there are Eagles fans out there. You guys just won a Super Bowl. That's great. You got a few years of buff period where you can just be happy about things. You have to realistically, Jalen Hurts has some pretty significant limitations of a team on a roster that should be competing for Super Bowls every year.
How many rings does he have, and how many rings does Allen have?
No, you're right. You're right. He has the Super Bowl, and that's why I'm being gracious in that sense that you guys have wiggle room here because he has the Super Bowl, and that solves all. But I also ask you, as a legitimate Eagles fan, you have to recognize that there are some limitations, and this team, with the roster they have, one Super Bowl. It's great to have that. They probably should have. They should in this
lost
stretch,
1-1.
Yeah, they should in this stretch. They should get at least one more. And I don't know if they can with Jalen Hurts as quarterback.
Well,
maybe they can because they've done it.
Coded.
But here's the thing: how do you get off of him? You really can't, right?
Yeah, and
there's a team
that
would want him.
Yeah, he's not that bad. I'm not acting like he's a bum.
Trade,
he's not that bad.
Who are you going to replace him with?
It's the most important position. And it is the one team, it is the one position your team is most limited at. That note, they got to get a new OC probably. But
I love the running back, man. Every year he plays, I'd like to win.
Mike McDaniel's on the market.
Yeah, that.
I know he's he interviewed for the Browns head coaching job this year, but
I don't like Sirianni.
I get that, but he's not the OC, and he's going to stay because he's a Super Bowl winning coach.
A goof.
He's gone to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years and won one of them. He's
probably not going.
He's
anywhere
got some
till he
job
wants to
security
go
for the
somewhere.
next
Dude, Jack
3
Trudley
years.
yesterday just was on the sidelines with a funny-looking toque, looking frustrated.
Patullo needs to get fired, and I would, if I were the Eagles, I would call Mike McDaniel and I would go, "Hey man, how much do you want? Like blank check."
I don't know if I'm checking my OC, but
I think you can
bring him in.
You can blank check Mike McDaniel.
Here's the other thing. I don't even think you have to, because like Mike McDaniel, he wants to be a head coach again. That's probably not going to happen immediately. But if he goes to that talented of an offense with that line, those weapons, and just sticks it out for 2-3 years,
He secures himself employment in 2 years.
Yeah, and he gets another head coaching job, likely, right? So that's kind of his incentive. I don't even know if you need to blank check him.
Now, I think if a year goes by and Hurts still has issues, then you can move off of him. Fair?
I mean, I don't know. Like, it's so you're better equipped to end. Like, what would you want as a fan? Because he's not bad. I don't want to sit here and act like he's a bad quarterback.
No, he's
I don't
not a
think
bad
he is.
quarterback.
I just think he is the limiting factor at the most important position on a team and on a roster that should probably be competing for 2 or 3 Super Bowls in a 5-year period.
Here's what I love about him. Number one, he's been to 2 Super Bowls and he won one. Number two, he's built kind of like a linebacker. He's a big guy. He can run and he can take a lot of hits and still stay on the field. I like the durability. And I also like the risk-averse nature of the game. But if the rest of his career is going to be issues about throwing downfield, if you can't stretch the field, then you're automatically in a position of weakness
just
if you're the quarterback.
really hasn't been able to throw the ball the same since his shoulder injury. What would that have been, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
You would trade him for Allen in a heartbeat.
I think
I wouldn't, because it would make you happy. And I refuse to do that.
That would make me incredibly unhappy.
Well, then I'll do it.
Allen is like the number one.
So
number one on the draft board for everybody, I think. You're restarting a franchise today. Josh Allen goes number one.
Lamar with some sleep and some attendance.
How much did Lawrence move up the depth chart of great quarterbacks currently? At all, or nothing, or a little bit?
Of the
current quarterback
in the league?
Yeah. Like, let's say he was number 11 before. Is he 7 now?
I think he's pushing top 5, I would say.
It seems crazy. I
top
do think he hovers around top 5 of my MVP ballot this year. He might be in it. I haven't sat down and made it. I think I'm going to do a whole ballot for declinations on Friday, or will do a whole ballot.
Cool.
Excuse me. I don't know. Yeah, like top 10.
The top 10 for sure.
So then, what do they have? And I know we're coming up against it.
Let me play this actually.
But what do they have to do in Jacksonville to make this team? Because this could be their high water mark. Everybody does. You think, they'll be better next year. Maybe not. What do they have to do between now and next year to get past where they are now?
I think it's just defense. They got the kicker.
It's just like a few more dudes.
I think they need a bona fide number one.
Well, I think they have it in BTJ, but he got to catch the ball.
Yeah,
I think what they really need is a bona fide number 2, which maybe Travis Hunter is.
But you don't think Jacoby Myers is a bona fide 2?
I think we got to go. Thanks so much for tuning into the Lowdown. On the way, Jason Gregor, the Jason Gregor Show, in the preview and the pregame of the Chicago Blackhawks and Edmonton Oilers. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy your day.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by meals.loca.ca. Every fresh chef-crafted gourmet meal, handcrafted from scratch. Fresh ingredients arrives at your door, fully cooked, ready to heat, eat, and repeat. Meals.loca.ca. NHL action. The Edmonton Oilers, of course, playing tonight in Chicago, taking on the Blackhawks. 6:30 puck drop for that one. The day's action kicks off with 4 games at 5 o'clock. Panthers and Sabres, Hurricanes and Red Wings, Kraken and Rangers, and Lightning and Flyers. In the NFL, final game, Super Wildcard Weekend, Houston and Pittsburgh, 6:15 kickoff for that one. The line currently sits at Houston at -3, the over-under 38.5. In the NBA, Cleveland and Utah will tip off the action from the Quicken Loans Arena in Cleveland. The line for that one, Cleveland -13.5. Toronto also in action, playing host to the Philadelphia 76ers, 5:30. Late game in the NBA, Charlotte and LA, 8:30 tip-off. Up next is the Jason Gregor Show. I'm Declan Krueger. On behalf of Josh Fenwick and Lowetide, this has been a Sports 1440 update.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always